Hello, everybody. Thank you and welcome back. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about my small market bird deal and what I learned and some of the tips and tricks I think that will help you be more successful in your future endeavor. Okay, first, we're going to talk about how the refinance was harder than a renovation itself on this particular small market bird deal. First of all, the loan size slowed everything down, right? I had a loan size of 97,500, but a lot of lenders really didn't want to touch it. They weren't interested. The property was in the LLC. That's another hurdle. Every lender had different seasoning requirements, and a lot of lenders, particularly your local banks like PNC, Dollar Bank, and things like that, they actually wanted the home to be titled in someone's name, and that wasn't my strategy. So I had equity, but it still took way longer than I expected. So my advice is, if you're doing a small market burr, this is where deals stall, right? So you got to really plan and you got to have an extra strategy before you buy. Let's talk about the loan size in general. Most lenders want your loan size to be at a minimum 100K. In my situation, I wanted to pull out 75 loan to value cash. That's typically the most lenders will let you pull out. Some will let you pull out 80 loan to value, but in my situation, 75. So that means I needed it to appraise for 135. 75% of the 135 was just about 100,000. It's actually 101K, right? But guess what, y'all? The home didn't appraise at 135. Next, we're going to talk about some tips that I think can help you get a better appraisal. One thing is you want to meet that appraiser in person, right? I met him in person, and for this particular situation, he actually called and said, could he come an hour early because one of his other appraisals fell through. So I moved some things around for him. I called the tenant, and we actually got him in early. So I accommodated him in that situation. Whether that helped my appraisal or not, I don't know. But make sure the home is tidy, right? Especially if it's occupied. Appraisers know it's not going to be perfect, right? It's being lived in at the moment, but make sure it's at least tidy and it's not completely filthy. I think that helps. If it is occupied, you want to inform the tenant, let them know so everybody can be ready. Make sure the keys are working. If the tenant is not there and you have permission to get inside, make sure everything works so you seem organized. Last but not least, provide the appraiser with a summary of repairs like this. Now, one of the other things I did was I created an appraisal support package that I emailed to the appraiser once he gave me his business card. And if you look at the first page of this package, you'll see it has the property address, the type of the property, single family home, investment, how many bedrooms, the square footage, when I renovated it, the cost for me to renovate it, my monthly rent, and what type of condition rating per the appraiser that I think it qualifies for, which is a C3. And it also has my label here. This right here brands you as a professional. Somebody's going to take time to deliver this with the appraisal. This is someone who knows what they're doing. Next, I just gave a brief executive summary. I have all of my major renovations from structural to mechanical, as you can see here, to interior upgrades. I gave a brief description of the overall result. I also broke down my income strategy here, a summary of what the monthly rent is actively occupied by a tenant, and what the utility responsibilities are. Those are all things that the appraiser is going to take into account when he sees and looks to see if this particular home meets the market tenant value. Then I break down the comparables. Most appraisers will ask you, what do you think the comparables are? So I chose some comparables in the neighborhood, their condition, and why I thought that they were strong contenders to be brought up to my property in terms of comparables. And another thing I did was I also attached an appendix of all of the invoices totaling my $63,500. And they're all marked paid in full. And I also included some before and after photos.